Yeah, so the way I got into the game was I was a subcontractor, and honestly, it was we were doing a subcontract work for like a large federal Department of not federal, Florida Department of Transportation contractor, and this contractor, had like $150 million contract, and we were just doing a small portion of it. We were doing the underground piping, and it was actually connecting Tampa, Florida to Orlando, I-4. We were doing all the
Okay.
underground piping there, and we were getting beat up so bad. Like we didn't negotiate. We were so excited to sign that subcontract that we didn't negotiate payment terms. We didn't negotiate retainage or any of this stuff.
Yeah.
We were just so excited so happy to sign that contract. And we were getting beat up so bad. And I started looking around. I'm like, man, we're not making money here, but somebody is.
Right.
And I was like,
There
that
you go.
GC, that prime con. And I was like, man, from there on, I was like, I'm working directly for the client. And that's when I set that goal of working directly for the client. And it's easy to set that goal. And then it took a year of constant going to the follow up and reaching out and emailing and going to the events and all that stuff to land our first project. But so getting your first project, like what was that? Did you just go to the sam.gov? Like, how did you end up landing your first project at Homestead?
So it's interesting. They knew someone that actually worked at the base, right? However, because they didn't know or understand federal procurement, they didn't even know how to leverage this person. So, and I'm like, wait, you have someone that works at the base? And by the way, they had someone that worked in contracting and procurement. And they'd known this person for years.
Yeah.
But they never bothered to ask them about working in the government because they were focused on residential business, right? And they were content, I would say. So when I brought it up, the whole subject, they had heard about government contracting, right? And it's interesting. I did a show last night with a guy that says a lot of times we're missing the opportunities. They're just going right by us and we just don't, like, we're not paying attention, right? Like they're going every day. You don't see it. So when I brought it up, and the first thing I said was, like, do you guys know anyone that happens to work at the base? They go, oh yeah, we know this one guy. And I go, oh, give me his name. And what does he do? So we're not really sure, but such and such knows this person. So I said, well, let's ask him. The guy worked in the contracting office.
Wow.
And they knew him for years. This wasn't like a new relationship. They knew him because it's a small town, a small area. A lot of these guys were in the military. They just had to ask. And then once they asked the guy, and then once we got them registered, then he started telling us about, like, hey, here's some opportunities that are coming out locally that are, that again, we just got to get 3 quotes for, and we could throw your name in the hat. And so we literally, again, the first things that we did were a lot of simplified acquisition. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but if you know anything about simplified acquisition, they don't have to go on sam.gov. They can be bid on a billboard inside the contract shop, inside the building. And so that's how we got those first opportunities. It was like, we were competing against 1 or 2 people.